All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our scan analysis. If you're here as a guest, if you are a person that is here and you received a bioscan recently, you might have received it in this past week. We had a wonderful event over at Texas Southern University where we had hundreds and hundreds of men that were coming through to get screened regarding their health. It was a men's event. It was fantastic. And it was so many that we had to definitely do the scans and schedule this time to be able to go over the scan analysis. And I thank Anita for giving us this kind of platform, and they did this first, and I just kind of piggyback off of it to realize that this is a wonderful way for us to be able to do this. And then you might be a person that we've invited who actually had the bioscan some other time. Well, either case, I suggest that you pull that bioscan up. Pull that out of your email, open that up, because we're going to talk about some things that hopefully will help you to understand even the more how you can reverse situations that are going on in your life, and then be encouraged to even share with your family in the future how it could be a benefit to them. So let's get started. All right, so let me first introduce who I am. My name is Dr. Rosalind Shaw Belt. Everybody calls me Dr. Roz. I am the CEO of Dream to Life Productions and Ministry. I'm a wife, a musician, a videographer. Previously been president of a record company where I learned to do recording engineering. I have 2 doctorates, theology and divinity. So I'm not a medical doctor, but I am a certified wellness coach with Alkalinity. We're Wakana, soon to be Alkalinity in just a few days. I'm proud to be the VP of Communication. I love to teach. I love to inspire people. I love to motivate them. And I'm a licensed insurance agent as well as a network marketer. So before we get started, I want to share this special video that I think is going to be a blessing to you. Check this out.
2/3 of adults are now overweight or obese, and we have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country. There's no way we can sustain the current style of care with the epidemic that we're creating with our diet and lifestyle choices.
The diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths. All the data is that those 70% of deaths and morbidity are largely lifestyle related and preventable.
Most kids by age 10 in the US already have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first stage of atherosclerosis leading to heart attacks, strokes.
Here in American medicine, we operate from the disease model. We are in the business of treating sick people. We are not in the business of trying to prevent people from becoming sick.
When you look at chronic disease risk, all the things that we walk around worrying about, actually dietary choices trump smoking when it comes to those risks.
If I could deliver one message to the researchers who are looking for the cause of diabetes and the cause of clogged arteries and the cause of high blood pressure and the cause of obesity, I would tell them the answer's in 3 words. It's the food. It's what Americans are eating.
I love how he says that. He said, it's the food. I've got the answer. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We want to talk about solutions, regardless of what you may be dealing with. And many of us know statistics. We know the statistics that say that the #1 cause of death is heart disease. Well, listen, here's the message that I want to deliver to you tonight, that heart disease is reversible. But you may not know that even in the 2016, even though cancer is #2, but guess what? There's a #3. And oftentimes we of course now because of the pandemic, it's COVID-19, but medical error according to the Institute of Healthcare Improvement is the #3 cause of death. How amazing is that? But 90% of heart disease is preventable. So let's talk about causes. Before we get into our bioscan, and I'll give you time to be able to pull your bioscan up if you haven't done that as of yet. If you received that by email, whether you received it this past weekend or whether you've received it in the past months, and maybe you just kind of brushed over it and you didn't get a chance to really take a look at it, I'm giving you time to get that done. Because one of the causes of disease in our body is the lack of oxygen. Another cause of disease is mucus and parasites that build up in our body. All of us, we came up with those cartons of milk, and we didn't realize that milk did not do the body good. So many toxins. I mean, you can even walk out the door. I mean, I live in a city where there are chemical plants all over the place, in the areas down on the freeway, and you just don't know what's happening with toxins that are getting in your body, toxins from our food, from what they're spraying and what they're shooting up in the chickens and the cows and all that kind of stuff. And then deficiencies in our vitamins. You know, you can eat something that's really, really healthy, and then after you eat it, because you cook it, because you heat it, all of a sudden you're not getting all of the vitamins that you should get. My husband and I just recently, this past weekend, as a matter of fact, it was on Sunday, drove to Galveston, which is a beach in my area, and we sat out and got us some sun. Yes, but a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D as one of those vitamins. And then we have an acidic body because we're not in that alkaline state. And we're going to talk about these things tonight and get really deep into it, because all of these things that we just addressed, these 5 issues, these 5 reasons that so many of us deal with heart disease, can be focused and can be seen where we stand in the bioscan. And then we are going to talk to you about the blood type. Yep, you may be eating food that is toxic to your blood type. I'm so excited because this information has not been available to us. And wouldn't you like to know why it is that there's certain foods that just seem to have a hard time digesting? Could it be that you're eating a particular food? You may not even know what your blood type is, but we've got a way for you to know that in just a matter of minutes. Or you might be that person who's dealing with a chronic issue, a chronic disease, and you've been dealing with it for a long time and don't realize it's causing certain issues just because you're eating that one particular food. Because it's not about what you eat some of the time, it's what you eat all of the time. And you see this sample. Now, this is just a very, very small sample of some of the hundreds of items that you might need to avoid for your blood type. I mean, just look at that, blood type B. Do you know how many of us have blood type B, and we love, love, love our chicken? So we've got this bioscan, and I know that you're here because you were privileged enough through some coach, whether it was our coaches here in Houston, Texas, or coaches in some other states, that gave you the bioscan. And that bioscan, amazing as it is, goes all the way back to something that Albert Einstein said many years ago. He said that the future of medicine is energy medicine. How many of you ever been around somebody and you've just felt their negative energy or their positive energy? Well, guess what? It came from the cells of their bodies. And we learned it in school, or maybe we heard it in school. We heard the teacher talk about the cells and the neurons and the protons, and that our body is made of trillions of cells. Well, this technology sends out and retrieves or begins to diagnose those signals to see whether those signals are healthy or unhealthy. See, it's called biofeedback technology. And it is the key word is what? Biology, right? It's the utilization of cellular and biomolecular processes to improve our lives. This is all about improving our lives. It's based on quantum physics, and we call it the bioscan. Now, if you were able to get the bioscan, I want you to put it in the chat and say, I got mine. I got mine. Just type that in the chat that you got your bioscan. Now, hopefully by now that you've got your sheets and you've got your forms, you've got your report, you got your whole report. Many of you got a full report. Some of you got reports with 4 or 6 things on it. But I'm going to address it in the sense that you possibly got the entire report. Now, you're going to see on that report a lot of colors. And those colors start with green, blue, yellow, and red. The green means it's normal. And in the best case, in a perfect world, we all want to have all greens. And that's what we're going towards. That's the direction that we want to head towards. Now, the next is blue. Blue means it's mildly abnormal or mildly out of balance. Yellow means it's moderately out of balance or abnormal. And red means it's severely abnormal or out of balance. Now, please know this, that out of balance or that abnormality does not mean disease. It just means you're going in the wrong direction. So we want to turn it around. So it's like if you're going east and you're trying to get to California, we need you to turn around and go in the opposite direction, right? We don't, because we understand that all disease is progressive. Now, the other thing that you'll see on your sheet, on all of the sheets, is that there's the first column that you see is the column for testing the item. That's the items that were tested on that particular report. The next column is the normal range where we'd like for everybody to fall in. The third column is your actual measurements. That's your personal measurements. So as we go through this, we're going to have you to look at your measurements, but we're going to let you look at the colors. Because remember I said green, blue, yellow, and red. Now, as we look at those colors, we understand that we see some colors on the left and some colors on the right, right? So what does that mean? If it's on the left, it means there's a decrease. If it's on the right, it means there's an increase. Again, what we would prefer to have in all of our lives is everything straight down the middle in the green. But if something, and here's the way God really made our body. He made our body to overcompensate when something's not working as good as it is, because he's going to keep us alive. So when it's on the left and there's a decrease, usually you'll find something else on the right, and you'll see why it's an increase because of something that's on the left. So pay close attention to what you see in your own scan report. So let's get started. The first report, and if you are a person that has the entire report, this is page 1. Page 1. Page 1 is the cardiovascular and cerebral vascular. That just means heart and brain. Now, all of the columns under testing item, from the top all the way down to 2 before the bottom, everything except the last 2 represents the heart. Again, second column is your normal range. Third column is your actual measurements. But now let's look at the colors. So let's look at this very first thing, blood viscosity. Blood viscosity, if you are an individual and you're looking at your report and you see that blood viscosity is on the right, because it would be on the right, that means your blood is thicker than it needs to be. It's thicker than it, and that means you really got dirty blood, because that's what's causing it. Now, let me tell you what works with blood viscosity. The third one, which is blood fat. Usually when blood viscosity is up, blood fat will also be up, whether it's in the blue. If it's in the blue, if it's in the yellow, or it's in the red. Now, remember I said blue means mildly out of balance, mildly abnormal. So if it's in the blue, it's just mildly thicker than it needs to be. If it's in the yellow, it's moderately thicker than it needs to be. And if it's in the red, it's severely thicker than it needs to be. So that's why a lot of people end up taking warfarin or blood thinners. And see, if you're in an emergency situation, you need to take that blood thinner. But the thing is, we shouldn't have to live on blood thinners. And that's why we have to do other things that are natural to thin the blood, even like ginger helps to thin the blood. But those fatty tissues that are causing that thickness, you know what it's like? It reminds me of a person drinking a milkshake and you can't get it through the straw. That's the way it is sometimes with our blood. It can't get through the blood vessel because it's too thick. And then a lot of times the reason it's too thick is because of that cholesterol. So that would be on the right. That would be an increase. If you're looking at your cholesterol and you see it in the blue, the yellow, or the red, then we need to get that cholesterol out. Now, I know oftentimes when we go to the doctor, the first thing they're going to tell us is that you need to be on medication. We have a lot of people who have testimonies that the doctor told them their diet would never, ever help their cholesterol. They would put them on statin, but guess what? they found a way to do that naturally. But if you are that person and you're looking at your scan report right now and you see that your cholesterol is in the blue, yellow, or the red, that means there's an increase of the amount of cholesterol that's going to your blood, and we need to flush it out. We'll talk about how to do that later. Let's go to vascular resistance. Vascular resistance. Now, oftentimes, when I scan a person and I see their vascular resistance in the yellow or the red especially, it's either one or two things. It's either dealing with blood pressure or it's dealing with stress. So if it's blood pressure, let me explain to you how this blood pressure works, because all of us have heard of atherosclerosis. See, a lot of times there's plaque buildup along the walls of your blood vessel. And the more plaque builds up against these walls, and listen, we're talking about over time. See, nothing happens overnight. It happens over time. And when you had the bioscan, I hope that we told you that this bioscan is reading what's been taking place progressively in your body since you were a teenager. Now, when that plaque starts building up against the walls, because God's going to keep you alive, because it's not your time, so that means it's getting full, and now that blood has to push harder, and the harder it has to push, it raises the blood pressure. Now, they don't tell us that. They give us a piece of medicine, and it puts a panacea on it, puts a Band-Aid on it, but guess what? You see this last diagram? That's a blocked artery. And you know what that's called? That's a stroke or a heart attack. So what's the solution? Let's get rid of the plaque. And as we get rid of the plaque, we're moving ourselves back to a healthy blood vessel. But the other thing that happens when that happens is sometimes if you see something on the right, and you see on this example, this person has moderately increased vascular resistance, meaning they're either dealing with a blood pressure problem or they're dealing with stress. And I'm gonna tell you, if yours is stress, if you've never been diagnosed with blood pressure, I want you to know you need to find a way to de-stress. I'm just saying, just find a way to de-stress. You've got to, I tell people all the time, you know, do something, do some yoga, do some meditation, pray. You've got to make you a picture of the Bahamas and put it up on your wall and get in your bathtub and flap like a duck, but do something to de-stress. And then you'll often see, when you see that on the right, let's look at that next column, that next row, vascular elasticity. Vascular elasticity, in this particular example, it's on the left, and that's what it would be. There would always be a decrease of it. But that means the elasticity. Our blood vessels are supposed to be like rubber bands. And what that means is when plaque starts building up, they get hard. Now, who hasn't heard of the term hardening of the arteries? And if it gets too hard, like it does in this last example here, now that's a breakage. And again, that's a heart attack or a stroke. But when we look at this particular example, they're in the yellow, so they're not there yet. But I need you to understand, as we're going through the discourse of these reports, hear me when I say that if we absolutely do nothing, it will not stay like it is. Over time, it progresses in the wrong direction. So the whole thing, our whole testimony, our whole, we're like preaching it, is that it is reversible. So we got to get in the other direction. So we got to remove this plaque. We got to get this plaque out so we can go back to a healthy blood vessel. And then after vascular elasticity, let's look at your myocardial blood demand. Whatever you're looking at, it will be on the right. If it's not in the green, it's going to be on the right, which means every 60 seconds, the heart demands a certain amount of blood to get to the heart. Every 60 seconds. So because of that elasticity, it doesn't have the ability to do that like it should be. So the heart has to do what? Work harder. And that's why sometimes we feel things like we feel chest pains, we feel things going on in our body, and we don't realize that's what it is. And it's all related to our diet. It's all related to our animal protein that's causing the heart and the blood vessels around the heart to work harder because it's not getting that blood there as quickly as it can every 60 seconds. And then the next one is blood myocardial blood perfusion volume. So whenever you see the word perfusion, we're talking about the oxygen level. So the oxygen level here, it's on the left, right? And that means it's moderately lower than it should be. It's not getting enough oxygen through the blood vessel to get to the heart. So we need to, again, get the plaque buildup out. Also, what would help this oxygen part is exercise. Oh, I said that E word that nobody likes to hear about. And then the next one is the myocardial oxygen consumption. So again, oxygen, we need to consume a certain amount of oxygen every 60 seconds, just like we do with the blood. And in this case, it's in the green, but in your case, it may be in the blue or the yellow or the red, and it'll be to the right because there'll be an increase in that. Now, here's the one I like to talk about, stroke volume, because the first thing when you say that word stroke, people are thinking about, oh no, are you saying I'm fixing to have a stroke? So especially if you see it in the blue or the yellow or the red, it will be to the left, meaning there's a decrease in your stroke volume. Now, it's not about getting a stroke. It's not about that you're on the verge of having a stroke. Every time the heart contracts, it's about the contraction of your heart beat. So in this instance, this person is mildly not stroking as good as efficiently as we'd like for them to. But it's an easy fix. You know how you can fix this? And I'm gonna tell you what goes with that. Skip one down and I'll come back to the other. That left ventricular effective pump power. There's the key word, pump power. Both of those tell us the healthiness of your heart. How strong is your heart? And you see in this case, this particular person is in the yellow with their pump power. So that means their heart is not pumping as good as efficiently as it could be from the left ventricle, and it's mildly not stroking as good. But I'm gonna say it again, there's an easy fix. And I don't think I told you what it was, right? Cardiovascular exercise. Now I've talked to people and they say, well, I exercise every day. Guess what? Do you know your heart can get used to a certain kind of exercise? And you need to add some hit to it. You need to add some intensity to it. So if you're riding a bike or if you're on a treadmill or whatever you're doing and you're doing it at a regular pace and your heart is used to that, I need you to hit it hard. I need you to do something out of the ordinary. I need you to run, sprint. I need you to go jog real fast for just about 30 seconds or 15 seconds, but make that heart do more. I need a little sweat dropping from the forehead. I'm just saying, right? So that's going to cause your heart to become healthier because you're working it harder. So let's get some exercise. See, exercise is not just to look good. It is completely necessary. And then the one that I skipped over, left ventricular ejection impedance, meaning there's an impedance in that same left ventricle. It will be on the right. In this case, it was in the normal, but yours may be in the blue, the yellow, or the red towards the right, meaning there's an increase in impedance, or there is a resistance in the left ventricle. Why is the left ventricle even important? Because that's sending the blood, you got the blood coming from the heart, and then you also got blood going to the tissues and to the organs. And if there's a impedance or if there's a resistance, now we've got hindrances getting blood to the rest of our body. So we've got to get the plaque out. We've got to get the toxins out so that we can have a healthy heart and we can reverse the #1 cause of death, heart disease. Now, the next two say coronary. The coronary artery, see, before we were talking about blood vessels around the heart. Now, when we talk about the coronary artery, we're talking about blood vessels on the heart. So the coronary artery, the same thing I was talking about earlier about elasticity, and then the perfusion pressure dealing with the oxygen to the heart. So that elasticity is going to be on the left-hand side, and we need to get that plaque buildup that's on the coronary artery decreased. We need it to go. And on the perfusion, pressure will be on the right-hand side. We need to remove plaque once again so that the oxygen can flow to the heart. Now, the last two things are related to the brain. If you are watching this, if you are looking at your report and your cerebral blood vessel elasticity is on the left, it means that there's a decrease. It means that your elasticity of the blood vessel to your brain is mildly not as elastic, moderately not as elastic, or maybe if it's severely, we need to get you to the hospital right now. Because that means that that blood vessel is in a crucial place. And then blood tissue, brain tissue, blood supply status, it will be to the right because we need that blood to flow. And let me tell you something, when it's not flowing well from the heart, then usually it's not flowing well to the brain, because oftentimes the whole body works together. Now let's talk about the next report. The next report we're going to talk about is your gastrointestinal report. And I want you to understand about the intestines, because too many of us have situations going on in our intestines. We've got somebody in the waiting room, guys. We've got things going on in our intestines. We got 4 to 6 meals just waiting, wishing to be digested into our bodies. You got the stomach, you got the large intestine, you got the small intestine. Now, how many of you on this call, you've got stuff that, you know, feeling just bloated right there in your stomach, just know certain foods are just not going down, or maybe you're going through constipation? Well, let me tell you something. Let me just give you a few facts about according to the Mayo Clinic. According to the Mayo Clinic, after you eat, it takes about 6 to 8 hours for food to pass through your stomach and your small intestines. 6 to 8 hours, guys. Food enters your large intestines, your colon, for further digestion, absorption of water, finally elimination. So it takes about 36 hours for food to move through the entire colon. Now let's think about that, 36 hours. So that means, how many of you wait 36 hours before you eat again? And 36 hours before you eat another time? None of us. So that's why so much is going on with our digestive tract. And 70% of your immune system is in your digestive tract. It's in your gut. Gut health is so important. So we hold about 10 to 12 pounds of waste in our gut. I mean, just look at this is just a schedule of some things. That's why, you know, the fruits and the vegetables pass a lot faster than all of these other things. How many of us love chicken? It says 1 to 2 hours, but it does say without skin, right? Beef, cheese, pork. I mean, look at all this. And what if we combine these things together? Then now you're adding another time to it, because so much of this food combining is incorrect. I mean, and just let's think about what our diet has been. Let's think about the majority of us, and maybe you're better now, but did anybody grow up eating breakfast with bacon and lunch with chicken and dinner beef? I mean, just think about that. Based on what we just learned from the Mayo Clinic, based on what this chart shows us, and then we didn't give any of these time to digest. There's no wonder why we have so many things going on with our digestive tract. And then here's something that just blew me away. Because the whole thing about digestion is about breaking down the protein. So the normal human body temperature is what? 98.6. But the cow, which we eat the beef, the cow's body temperature, normal body temperature, is between 100 to 102.5. What does that mean? It's higher than ours. And if the cow's body temperature is higher than ours, then it's going to take us a more difficult time to break down that protein and those oils. So our intestines get clogged up. But when we eat fish in 40-degree water the temperature of the fish is 60 degrees. So that explains, and it makes sense how it's so much easier to break down the protein and oils in the fish than it is in the cow. So let's look at the gastrointestinal function. Hope you got your chart. It's on page 7. It's on page 7 of those of you that have your full report. Go to page 7, and I'll give you a second or two to get there. And if you're using it on your computer and you're clicking, or maybe hope you have your other device and you're looking for it, you're able to click those arrows at the top of that PDF and get to page 7. So again, the items we're testing, the normal range, and your actual measurements. The first thing we're looking at is pepsin secretion coefficient. Now, pepsin is an enzyme that's used in our body to help us digest properly. And as you can see in this example, it's to the left. So there's a decrease in the amount of pepsin. When you look at yours, is it to the left? Is it in the green? If you're in the green, you're digesting well. But if it's on the left-hand side, whether it's blue, yellow, or red, and don't think that because it's in the blue that you got it going on. No. Anything not in green, we need to address because it's progressing in the wrong direction. That enzyme is not working as efficiently as it should be. And then the next one is the gastric peristalsis. Peristalsis is like a muscle. Let's look at the pepsin first, because that pepsin is that protein and that enzyme in the stomach that breaks down that protein. So if it's not breaking it down, then what's happening? You're not digesting properly. And you're having indigestion, you're having bloating. You might even be having gastric reflux. Because remember I said, those 4 to 6 meals are sitting on the walls of your intestines and it's working hard. That food is working hard. And you think because you go to sleep, that is because, we say, oh, well, I know what color you are because you go to sleep. No. Your body's having to work harder to digest it. So we want to deal with that. Now, the peristalsis is that muscle that helps to break down the food. We think food gives us energy. No, food doesn't give us energy. Our body uses energy to digest the food. And depending on what kind of food, we just looked at a chart, it's having to work. I mean, when you eat that steak, it's working overtime. And then you add potatoes to it, or you add some rice to it, and you add some, listen, don't eat a piece of fruit and then eat a piece of steak. Now the steak is going to slow down the fruit because the steak gets precedent because it's much harder to work the steak. And now the fruit begins to ferment inside your body because it can't digest when it was really supposed to just digest immediately. So you really should have eaten it first and just rest and then ate the steak. But the peristalsis is that muscle that's contracting to break it down. So in this particular case, the peristalsis is not doing it as functionally, as efficiently as it should be. Now let's look at the gastric absorption, absorbing the food. Do you know that you can be taking vitamins, and if you're not absorbing them, you're really just wasting your money because that vitamin's just going through. I mean, it didn't give you a vitamin A, C, or E because there's clogged drain. Now, if you had a clogged drain at home, what would you do? You'd get a plunger, right? You'd do something to open up the drain. But when we get clogged in our bodies, we do absolutely nothing. So absorption is important. And here it's on the left. If yours is on the left, then we need to what? Cleanse your colon, cleanse your digestive tract, cleanse your intestines. And even in the small intestines, we see the same things, the peristalsis and the absorption. Either one of them would be on the left if you are not digesting as good as you should be in your small intestines, or if you're not absorbing your food in your small intestines. But again, if it's in the blue, it's mildly out of balance, yellow, moderately, and red, it's severely. So you're probably just all constipated. And we need to clean up that intestine. You're going to see so much happen when you make up your mind to do that right there in the gut. And if people really understood how important gut health is, we wouldn't have the COVID problems we're having, because where did I say the immune system, 70% of the immune system is? It's in the gut. Large intestines, that's on page 10. Go to page 10, it's the next one. For those of you that have your full report, page 10, the large intestines. Now we're going to see the same things, the peristalsis, breaking down your food again. In this instance, it's in the blue. So this person is mildly not digesting or not breaking down their food as efficiently as they should. They're mildly not absorbing in the large intestines, and they even have a little intestinal bacteria. And then there's some pressure, that intraluminal pressure, because of all these things taking place and it's not properly digesting, it's putting pressure on the intestines, on the walls of your intestines. So what do? We need to clean the gut. We got to clean the gut. So now I'm going to ask this question. Why can't the lion catch the gazelle? So we've been talking about this animal protein that's hindering us. Why can't the lion catch the gazelle? Because see, the lion is a carnivore that eats flesh, and the gazelle is an herbivore. Well, just check this out. Lions say, I don't even have a chance. Because see, flesh eating caused him not to be able to catch those plant eating animals. And the only way he would ever be able to catch them is that he had to sneak up on them. This video is a long video. I just cut it real short. And it shows him just sneaking, trying to get as close as he possibly could. And at the end, he couldn't catch him. So what does that say to us? That we need to be eating more plants than we are flesh. Because one of the real reasons, one of the major reasons, has to do with our liver. Now here I want you to go to your report card, page 12 of your report card. Page 12 of your report card. We're going to talk about the liver, because too many of us have problems in the area of our liver. Let's talk about the liver. What's the job of the liver? Well, I must tell you that in just a minute, but I want you to look at these areas of the liver: protein metabolism, energy production function. And this person, they look pretty good. They had green in these first three areas, detoxifying the liver, because the liver is supposed to detoxify the body and pull out stuff, right? Bile secretion, there's bile in many of our bodies. We got a buildup of bile. So if you're on the left-hand side, then it's not functioning in your liver as good as you want. But I really want to focus your attention on the fifth row: liver fat content. The average person that I scan on a day-to-day basis has what's called a fatty liver, because they don't recognize the job of the liver. When every one of you, I'm sure on here, you have a vehicle, and every 3,000 miles or so, you do what? You change the oil. But not only do you change the oil, you change the oil filter. Now, what if you didn't change the filter, but you just changed the oil, and you sent that clean oil through a dirty filter? What would that be? You'd still have dirty oil because of the filter. Well, guess what the job of the liver is? To filter the blood. So a lot of times what's happening is we've got dirty blood traveling through our body, and it's putting stress on the heart, it's putting stress on the kidneys, it's putting stress on the brain, it's putting stress on all these blood vessels because it's dirty blood. I mean, it's like having dirty water in your tank. So we need to understand how important it is to cleanse our liver. Now look in this example. Where is your report? What are your test results? If they're to the right, in the blue, the yellow, or the red, it needs to be addressed. And see, the other problem that is being affected by our liver is pharmaceutical drugs, because they get processed in the liver. So a lot of times we've got fatty livers because of even the medication that we're taking. See, fatty liver disease is a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And I mean, we all think that people that are alcoholics are the only ones that have liver disease. They get cirrhosis of the liver. No. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If your report is looking in the blue, the yellow, or the red, especially if it's in the yellow or the red, you have a fatty liver. That means your liver has gotten harder. That means it's not filtering like it should be filtering. So that means it's allowing dirty blood, because deposits of fat are causing the liver to enlarge, and you've got now dirty blood flowing through your body. But we can fix it. Yes, it's reversible. Everything I'm talking about, there's no doom and gloom. There's no negative anything here. Everything is reversible. How do we reverse it? We cleanse the liver and we get it back to a healthy liver. And what happens? All of a sudden now you've got fresh blood, clean blood, because scripture says the life of the body is in the blood. Now, let me ask you a question. Is your body acidic? You say, well, what does that mean? Is your body acidic? Well, we want it to be alkaline. Now, some people don't understand the terms between alkaline and acidity. Well, let me tell you, what it means is you're familiar with the Duracell battery, and it's called an alkaline battery. And then when you put it in your device, you put it in your remote, you put it in your player, and it plays and it plays and it plays and it plays. And after a while, it stops playing and it slows down because it's lost its alkalinity. The same thing happens to our body. The same thing happens to our body. In this report, now you're going to have to fast forward to page 68. Page 68. Because it's going to show, is your body acidic or is your body alkaline? Now, there's no gray area here. It's either acidic or it's alkaline. And people tell me all the time, well, I drink alkaline water. Well, that's great. And we want you to drink alkaline water, but we've got to get the acid out. So that's why we've got to do what's necessary to get the acid out of our bodies. So if you are in a position where you see you're in the red, that means that your body is more acidic than it is alkaline. Now, the other categories here, responsibility. Responsibility is how well you respond to things or how well you react to things. Some of us react and we don't respond. So you may be over on the left because you react and not just respond. Or that mental power, or maybe the water shortage. And that doesn't mean that you don't drink water. In this instance, it's in the green, but let's look at where yours is. It means that because water, sometimes we have a water shortage, and every time when you gain weight, there's an increase of water in our bodies to protect ourselves. That's why sometimes when you start losing weight, the first thing you lose is water weight. And then hypoxia is that lack of oxygen in our body. So we need all of these functioning correctly so that we are pushing our bodies to that alkaline state. Now, how that happens is based on your diet. It's based on what we're eating. How many of us have been raised, and remember, I'm gonna say it again, the bioscan that you took is not about what you did last week, last month, or last year. It's about what's been taking place in your body from the time you were a teenager up until now. So if you've been in 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the last 30 years, it's not going to happen overnight. So we've got to start doing 8, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on a regular basis to put ourselves in a position where we now are in an alkaline state. And it doesn't take a whole lot for that to happen. Because when I started doing my first bioscan, I was acidic. My body was acidic. I did my first cleanse, and that got me into an alkaline state. So it doesn't take a long time to get your body into an alkaline environment, because here's the beauty of it, and here's the truth of it all. Disease. No disease can dwell in that alkaline environment. So if a person actually had cancer and they changed their diet drastically, over time, those cancer cells would die. Oh, so many things, so many issues that we're going through in our body are because of our body being in an acidic environment. So let me tell you, this is what we got to do. We do it every day, but we don't do it with our bodies. We do it with our computers. Anybody ever had a computer that slowed down? What did you have to do? You had to free up some disk space. You had to defragment it. You had to add some more RAM to it. You had to remove some viruses and spots. You even had to sometimes reset it back to the factory setting. What am I saying? I'm saying you did something. You didn't just let your computer that slowed down. Some of you might have bought a brand new computer, but you can't get a brand new body. And all we're trying to say with the bioscan, that's why we want everybody to know, because we're destroyed for the lack of knowledge. When we see something in the yellow or the blue or the red, it's a warning sign. And I live in Houston, Texas, and we get warnings during hurricane season to tell us It's on the way. Does that mean you do nothing? No. We go to the store, we get more groceries, we put up board up the windows. We do all of this in case the storm comes. Sometimes it doesn't come, but we don't not do anything. When the tornado horn blows, you do something, you make a change. And that's what the bioscan lets us know. You need to make these changes so you will not get into the crisis. So what do? Flush the body. Flush the body with the cleanse. Get rid of the toxins and the mucus and the waste and the parasites, and do it by juicing with fruits and vegetables. Now, I'm going to stop for a minute because I've got a partner that's here with me by the name of Anna Gallagher. And she's going to talk to you guys and help you understand what you need to do. This dynamic woman, I love her so much. She's a mother. She's a grandmother. She's an entrepreneur. She's an econopreneur. And she is a certified wellness coach. Miss Anna, are you there? You might have to unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. We're looking at the right products. And what does the right products do? They flush out our system. These 3 products right here will flush our system. Not only do they flush our system, they will reverse whatever is going on your bioscan. And that's why we are going to talk about them right now. The eliminator, the number 1 step, it eliminates mucus and parasites. Now, the eliminator, all it takes is 1 tablespoon, but we're going to go on to the purifier. The eliminator, and next we have step 2, it's the purifier. The purifier cleans the colon and it detoxes your bodily organs. And it's a tea. Now, the first one that we talked about, it's a powder, but this is a tea. Number 3, it is the replenisher. And the replenisher has the vitamins and the minerals that's going to keep you going while you're doing the cleanse. So these are our 3 awesome products that you want to know about. You want to use them on your 7-day or either your 21-day cleanse, and you will see how it will reverse what's going on your bioscan. Now, we're going to talk about the grocery list, add-ons for the cleanse. You're going to have, we'll first start with the product source, or it says the proud source. Your next one will be aloe vera juice. The next one's going to be the cayenne pepper. And then you're going to have the chlorophyll. Well, colonic. Let me get my glasses straightened out here. It's the on here is Chlorofresh. You will be using all these as an add-on to your cleanse. It's going to help it work even better with these things. All these things that's on your grocery list, they can be picked up at Amazon under an Amazon brand, H-E-B brand, Trader Joe's, and these are the 7-day requirements that will help you. When you do your alkaline water, it's going to be 8 ounces.
She's saying the stuff that we don't sell, you get off Amazon. Alkaline water, all that came from Dr. Sebi. That's why I told you, we got our hands on something. The alkaline water.
The aloe vera juice.
Aloe vera juice, alkaline water, right now. Huh? Yeah, but I'm just saying. Hold on.
The cayenne pepper,
help us mute
the flaxseed oil,
hold on.
the liquid chlorophyll, and the raw fruits, raw salad. All this is a part of your grocery list. now. Back to you, Dr. Roz.
Thank you, Miss Anna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me tell you something. When y'all get with
Thank
Miss
you, Miss
Anna,
Anna.
she's some kind of wellness coach. She helps you with that regimen. She calls you, she checks on you, all of that. Now, as we come to a close here, I want you all to just share and receive this young lady who, I mean, she's such a blessing to me. And her name is Kim Kerr. This lady, she just has a passion that is just infectious, a passion for people, a passion for performance. She's an engager. She's a leadership engager. She's got so many expertises in her life and she knows everybody. I just believe she knows everybody because she's great at developing partnerships. She's got so many different certificates. It's too many for us to name. She's a grief recovery specialist. I got to tell you that. But more than anything else, she is a connector. And what she's going to do in just the next few minutes is connect the dots and help connect everything you've heard to where we're going. Kim Kerr, are you there?
I am. Sometimes I wonder who you're talking about. Hey, everyone. So glad to be here. So glad that you're here. For those that I haven't met personally, I just want to drop a little seed about how I got into this work. I was going through some health challenges, had the privilege of being scanned by Dr. Roz, and just got a trickle down message from her that said, you know, to come check out the Flat Belly Lifestyle. I hadn't gotten the whole spiel, sort of understood my bioscan and went another path. And then I came right back to Dr. Roz. And I have to say that after I cleansed and actually went to Dr. Sebi's village for a month and came back and started even on our cleanse, I have seen a difference in my bioscan results. So everything does reverse. It is the truth. I'm living proof. I want to spend a few minutes just to talk to you about what the business opportunity is, and frankly, the way that you could purchase your products. So you can purchase products directly and be a customer, or you can take a business opportunity route because you know that you too are a natural connector, as I am, and you're going to share it with your family. And honestly, I can tell you when I joined Dr. Roz's team in January, I simply signed on to say, I want to learn everything I can to be the best wellness coach I could be. I've been in this way as an advocate, and now I just want to go to the next level. So instead of just choosing to buy the cleanse for 7 days, I signed up for 21. Immediately, I knew I was going to do that. And so your options here as a customer is to buy the raw cleanse for 7 days at $119.95. Again, those are the 3 base products that Anna just described for you. They're pictured here. Or phase 3 of our cleanse is to go all the way and do the 21-day. And that's for $282. Now, some of you are asking, where is phase 1? I just want to say, after those bioscan results, none of us want to do phase 1. We want to do 2, and actually, we probably ideally want to do 3 in most cases. So this is how you would sign up as a customer. But if you want to go all in, I just tell you, this is the way I woke up. I heard a little birdie, little message in my heart. My inner man say, this is what you want to do. You want to be a wellness coach. And I just jumped in the water. For that, I got all of these products, as well as the training that comes along with being a wellness coach, the opportunity to learn how to use the bioscan technology and be able, frankly, to share it with anyone, anywhere, wherever I go. That bioscan technology is this size. It's this small. Literally, me and my computer go anywhere. And with the training that I received and this little black box, I'm able to empower people with information. I also did get my 21-day cleanse. I was able to get several 7-day cleanses out of it as well. And I was able to take advantage of some of the other incredible products that Wakana for Life offers. And we are changing our name. Akana for Life has to offer. So if you know that you're not quite ready for the wellness coach, but you still want to maybe consider the business opportunity, I want to tell you about 2 others. There's the starter pack. It's $199. And this one, you'll get your 7-day cleanse. And then there's the lifestyle coach pack. In that pack, you're going to get your 21-day cleanse. What additional products you receive are there. But in addition to that, you'll also get some information about blood type testing should you sign up for the lifestyle coach pack. Akana has a world of opportunity in terms of information that's available for all of our wellness products. You have access to the university on any one of these packages. So I just curious, can you type in the chat how you want to enter? I want to be a customer. I want a 7-day. I want to be a customer. I want a 21-day. No, Kim, count me in. I'm a wellness coach. No, Kim, I'm not quite ready for wellness coach, but I do want to share it with my family and take advantage of those benefits. Can you type that in the chat and just tell us where you are? That'll just help us know how to follow up with you. Again, no pressure, but you know, our bioscan says a lot and we have the power to turn it around. And we're excited to be on the journey with you. Dr. Ross, back to you.
All right, all right. Well, we're going to open the room up if there are any questions. I saw Cheryl waving. I don't know if you were just waving or did you have something you wanted to share? You're muted.
No, I was just waving at Dr. Kim.
Oh, okay. Awesome, awesome. So we have some, if there are some guests that are here that receive the bioscan either this weekend or any other time, and you still have some questions, you can definitely unmute or put it in the chat. And you can definitely get back with us for sure if you need some one-on-one assistance, but we're ready for you to get started. We're going to coach you through it. That's the beauty of this coaching program, is that you don't do it by yourself. You've got coaches that are, and if you're here from a different area, maybe somebody told you about this, and we're going to be back on Sunday after we come back from Vegas. We'll be back Sunday evening to do this again, because we know some people couldn't make it tonight, so they'll be making it on Sunday to get their scan results. So are there any questions or any comments, ladies? Anything that you all have that we need to cover?
So Dr. Ross, I just want to add, I know some folks did ask me about the book we had, The Smart Guide to Food Choices. I did drop that in the chat from Amazon. I should say it's the guide to smart food choices, which goes a little deeper to the food combinations and food lists by blood type. It's a little condensed version from what is in the Eat Right for Your Type book.
It's fantastic. Thank you for pipping us to that, Cheryl. All right, I see we got a lot of nice comments. Seems to be no questions.
Dr. Ross, did you record it?
I did. That's why I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it right now.